Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Broncos Live postgame show. I'm Phil Melanius alongside Andrew Mason, and what a finish it was. Brandon McManus's 36-yard field goal gives the Broncos a big victory, 20-19. Mace, what did you think?
Well, let's just take that last drive right there, and quite frankly, that was the kind of drive that I don't think last year's team was capable of. But you have a new quarterback in Case Keenum. You have guys like Tim freaking Patrick, making the big play to get the Broncos into field goal range. Jake Butt had a nice reception, made a man miss earlier on the drive. Emmanuel Sanders with a 21-yard catch on 2nd and 20.
They were
huge
rolling.
Plays all around, and that's the kind of thing that makes you believe that this team is cut from a different timber. We saw the resilience last week. We saw more resilience this week, and then finally on the drive, they came through in the clutch all around.
All right, let's check out some of the highlights here, see how the Broncos got to that point. Von Miller got the big sack in the first half. The offense wasn't doing much. His sack, his 4th of the season, holds the Raiders to just a field goal. It was 6-0. The only real big offensive play in the first half, Philip Lindsay, a 53-yarder. The Broncos' longest run since 2017. Rookie having a great game. In the third, Royce Freeman got the Broncos in the end zone, a 1-yard run. Rolls-Royce powering in. And then we see Keith Smith, a 4th down play in the 4th quarter. Easily could have got the first down, dropped it, and then Keenum on 4th down makes him pay. He goes right up the middle, gets a touchdown, pulls the Broncos to within 2, and then the magic happened late in the 4th quarter, the 2-minute drill. Brandon McManus's 36-yard field goal got the Broncos on top for good. What a win, Mace.
Yeah, good teams capitalize when opportunities are there. And look, the Raiders had their mistakes. PAT blocked. You had the Keith Smith play where he dropped the pass on 4th and 1. But you've got to capitalize on those. To the Broncos' credit, they took advantage of that. And they also took advantage of the fact that the Raiders dominated the first half, but only emerged with a 12-0 lead. It evoked memories of December 2015 when the Broncos led 12-0 at halftime, but really had opportunities to stretch it further. They didn't do that, and then they paid for it in the second half. Today, the roles were reversed. The Broncos made the Raiders pay for not capitalizing when they had Denver on the run early.
You are watching the Broncos Live postgame show. The Broncos beat the Raiders 20-19. They start the season 2-0 for the 6th consecutive year. Matt Boyer will be along shortly inside the Broncos locker room. Hopefully he'll be able to track down Brandon McManus, and we'll bring that to you live here. But the Broncos get the big win, 20-19. Mace, in the first half, the Broncos offense really couldn't get anything going, but they changed things in the second half, and we're hearing that Matt Boyer is standing by with Tim Patrick. We'll bring you that in just a second here. Tim Patrick made a big play in that last drive.
Yeah, you go back to last week when he's open and has a chance to make a catch, can't quite bring it in. Could have had a touchdown early in the second half. Replay took it away. Then he gets the shot late, and that, you know what? It tells you about the Broncos, how they trust all their targets. Tim Patrick, the number 5 wide receiver, not a lot of people had him on the 53-man roster when they were projecting the roster at the start of training camp, but boy, he made catch after catch over the course of the preseason and training camp, and that set up the opportunity for a moment like he had today on the big stage. Tim Patrick has arrived, Phil.
And how about the presence of mind to take it outside and go up the sideline?
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you get out of bounds. I mean, you go back to a moment last year when Isaiah McKenzie didn't go out of bounds at the end of the half. So that's the kind of situational awareness you want to see from a young receiver in just his 2nd regular season game. Outstanding work by Tim Patrick to help seal the deal, or at least give Brandon McManus the opportunity to seal the deal with a 36-yarder.
And you knew once that Broncos offense got going a little bit, you knew that 2-minute drive, they'd have some success. They hit Emmanuel Sanders, like you said earlier. We saw Jeff Hireman get in the mix, Jake Butt, and then, of course, Tim Patrick making the play to set up the field goal. What a tremendous drive that was. Let's go to Matt Boyer inside the locker room with Tim Patrick.
Inside a very happy Broncos locker room with Tim Patrick. Tim, 1 catch, 26 yards, but it was a big-time catch. Take me through that play.
Exactly. End of the game, we called, I can't tell you our plays, but basically I'm reading the corner. If he bails, I'm stopping. If he stays flat, I'm burgering in and out, and kind of gave me a weird look, so I kind of just ran a hitch. K seen me. First thing I thought when I got the ball was like, get out of bounds. But I seen there was no one around me, so I kept going up the field. Seen there was one-on-one with the safety, and I'm taking me every single time. So I went to the sideline and got out of bounds.
When you see McManus hit that field goal and know that you played such an important part in that drive, what goes through your mind?
I always got to stay ready. Look, man, like, that was I got 3 plays, and that was one of my plays. And they preach here, like, always stay ready, and that's what I did.
Tim, congrats on a great game. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Phil, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah, a great play by Tim Patrick right there. And then we saw him have the big game. We also saw Jake Butt have a very big game, made a big play on that last drive. He had a nice play earlier in the game. The second-year player, tight end from Michigan. And Matt Boyer is actually with Jake Butt now. Let's go inside the Broncos locker room.
Inside the Broncos locker room once again with tight end Jake Butt. Jake, that last drive, you guys start out with the penalty, but you drive down the field. Tim makes the great catch. You kick the field goal. Take me through that drive. What was the mindset in the huddle?
By any means, really, it's just you got to find a way to score, man. It kind of leads up to it the whole entire game where, it wasn't the prettiest game, but that's this league. It's hard to win, but you got to find a way, man. That's what we did in that last drive.
You yourself had 4 catches for over 40 yards, making play after play. What was the key for you to get into a rhythm? Because it seemed like you and Case were on the same page all day.
Honestly, kind of had the red ass. Those first 2 third downs, I got stopped at 1 yard short both times, so I really took that to heart, man. The team needs to find a spark, and when your number's called, you got to make a play and move the chains to get a spark going for our offense. So really, the whole entire game, I was just focused on making up for those 2 plays. Case, man, just week in, week out, all throughout camp through spring, man, he just stays even keel the whole entire game, level-headed, and keeps making plays for us when we need it most.
Congrats on a great game, Jake.
Thank you.
Phil, we'll send it back to you on the field.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yeah, Mace, what did you think about the game from the second-year tight end?
48 yards on 4 catches. Case Keenum calling up Butt quite a bit. You could say it's a butt dial, so to speak.
But I saw that on Twitter earlier this week, Mace.
I couldn't help myself on that one, but at the same time, Jake Butt has such good humor with the puns on his name. I thought it was okay, but what I like, he had that big catch down the seam last week in the 4th quarter to set up the game-winning touchdown. He's making plays in high-leverage situations today. And on that last drive, making the first man miss, that's something he's very good at. Not many tight ends can make the first tackler miss as consistently as Jake Butt can. That's why the Broncos drafted him.
Yeah, a nice game by Jake Butt. We hear that Brandon McManus, the game-winning field goal kick there, is talking live inside the Broncos locker room. Let's go to that now.
Actually, we've got the kicker here, Kyle, the hero of the game, Brandon McManus. And, the crazy thing is you weren't watching, but the NFL all day long, kickers were missing big kicks, kind of chip shots. You come in, emotionless, just nail that thing like it means nothing.
No, the offense did a good job. Made it easier for me on that last play. I still think we were to kick the long one, kind of similar to that Kansas City game, a 62-yarder. But, Tim made it and Case made it easy for me. And, can't thank my guys enough to block it and protect it for me.
Yeah, if Tim doesn't catch that and get out of bounds, you are lining up for a 60-plus one. Is that kind of what's in your mind, and you got to quickly shift down?
No, because you don't want to be thinking about a 60-yard field goal when you have to kick whatever it was, 35 or whatever it was. So you don't want to be thinking about having to kill a 60-yarder when you got to make a shorter one possible. So, like I said, Casey and Marquette did a great job. Testament to how hard they worked for me this offseason, transitioning Marquette over, holding for a righty.
What are those emotions like as you're
Brandon
watching?
McManus inside the Broncos locker room as the Broncos win 20-19 after Brandon McManus' big field goal there. Let's go to head coach Vance Joseph as he's heading to the podium.